Hi class, and welcome to lesson 4. This week we're going to be working on fractions, and we also have our first exam coming up, but don't let that scare you. Let's talk a little bit about the coursework first. So this week coursework's pretty straightforward. We're going to be working on fractions. We've got our exercises that we do every week, and that's all there is really to the coursework. Just pretty standard week. There are a couple videos out there by Brother Baird to talk about fractions. Make sure you watch those. And then the biggie though is the exam. So the exam this is our first exam. We have 4 exams in this class and then a final exam. So I guess 5 total, but 4 that cover certain chunks of the class. The final exam will cover the whole class. So this exam 1 covers lessons 1 through 4. So what that means is I would highly recommend doing this week's work before you take the exam. Just because questions from this week's stuff's going to be on the exam. So definitely do this week's work before you take the exam. As far as for preparing for the exam, what I recommend for that is just going back through the previous lessons' quizzes. And if you feel comfortable with the quizzes and you feel like you would do well on them again, boom, you're ready for the exam. If you have questions on the quizzes though, please let myself know. Get with a tutor, get with the tutoring center. I believe last week our sections tutor emailed you all. Her name is Emily. I will leave her email below this video so you can contact her. Get with somebody, talk with someone in your gathering, family, friend, whoever. Get some help before you take the exam. Just kind of some best practices as far as taking a test. You want to make sure you allot yourself enough time. Don't try and cram the exam at 11:30 at night on Saturday. Plan your week out, and around, you got work and other activities going on, and so just make sure you allot yourself some time, probably towards the tail end of the week, because you're probably in the beginning of the week going to be working on the exercises. So towards the tail end of the week, allot yourself some time. Everybody's going to be different, so I can't really say how much time, it would take you. Might take some people 20 minutes, half hour, might take some people a couple hours, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. There's no time limit. It is closed note, closed calculator. You can't use those things on this exam. In upcoming exams, we will be able to use calculator, but this one's all closed note, closed calculator, okay? So as you go to take the exam, just make sure you're giving yourself enough time. Now, I do want to talk about the retakes of the exam. You are allowed to retake the exam. And the way that works is it's required if you score below a 75%. If you score above a 75%, it's optional. It's up to you. There is no penalty for retaking the exam. The grade book will just take whatever is the highest score of the two. So if you do better on the retake, then it takes that score. It doesn't average the two. If you do worse than the first time you took it for whatever reason, then it will just keep your first score. It's not going to take the retake score. It's just going to give you whatever the best score is. So there's really no penalty for retaking the exam. What you'll need to do to retake the exam is you'll need to reach out to myself. It's not set up that you can just go in and take it again like the quizzes are. It only allows you one attempt, and then you have to email me. So send me a message. Say, Brother Dixon, I'd like to retake the exam. Now, on the instructions, it says what you need to do to be able to retake the exam. There's 2 things. It mentions 2 things. You need to meet with a tutor, or you need to meet with your instructor, myself. I open that up a little more. I use tutor pretty lenient, and I might be a little different than what other professors might say in your gatherings. I consider a tutor, it can be the BYU Idaho Tutoring Center, it can be Emily, the official BYU tutors, but it could also be a family or a friend that's good at math. I don't think it has to be through the BYU Idaho tutoring. If you've got a good close family member or friend that can help you, perfect. Show them your test. They can help you work through those if they can help you work through those problems and you can see where you went wrong, that's just as good as meeting with any other tutor. So reach out to resources around you. If you don't have anyone, then by all means, reach out to the tutor, reach out to myself. I'll go over the test with you. I will help you see where maybe you made some mistakes, prepare you to take the test. When you feel ready, if you meet with a tutor and then you feel ready to retake it, you shoot me an email. Brother Dixon, I met with so-and-so, and I'm ready to retake the exam. Perfect. I'll go in, I give you another attempt, and then you can go in and retake that exam. So that's how that works. And I'll remind you next week, you don't have to retake the exam before the week's over. You can retake the exam, and technically you can retake the exam anytime you want during the semester. You don't even have to retake it like the week after or anything of that. If at the end of the semester you want to go back and retake them all, you can. Exams you're allowed to, and you're allowed to retake it as many times as you want. You know, if you want to keep retaking it, that's fine. You just have to follow that criteria. Again, you got to meet with someone, understand what you did wrong, and then email me and I go in and reopen it. And if you want to do that multiple times, it's totally fine. So that's kind of the biggie for the week, is that first exam. We're going to get that out of the way. You're going to feel good. And then now the semester is really rolling on. You know, we've picked our financial book. We've started tracking our expenses. We're taking our first exam. Man, we're just cruising along. Talking about the expenses, I know last week we're coming off tracking that first week of expenses. In lesson 7, you're going to be turning in a file where you show that you tracked your expenses for an entire month. My suggestion there is to just keep doing what you did last week. If you don't do anything, and then all of a sudden lesson 7 comes, and now you're pulling up your bank statement, trying to see all the transactions and fill it in, you'll spend way more time on it then than if you would just keep up on it week to week. If you keep up on it week to week, all of a sudden week 7 comes when you got to turn in that month's worth of tracking, you've got it done. All you have to do is submit the file. Perfect. So keep that going. If you've gotten your financial book, definitely start reading it. If you haven't got your financial book, you know, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. You still got time. Get that financial book as soon as you can, and then develop a plan to read that. The book report's not due till lesson 12, but you definitely don't want to be reading the entire book during a lesson 11, right? You know, especially because towards the end of the semester, the math gets a little bit harder. There's more assignments that are a little more time intensive. So I would definitely encourage you, if you have your book, to start reading that now. So that way you're not just cramming at the end. The last thing I want to talk about is getting our assignments turned in on time. I've noticed this semester, and I know the first couple of weeks are always kind of, you know, starting out and getting in the routine. But I have noticed that there's quite a few late submissions as well as not submitting things at all. And so I just want to press the importance on you that, you know, it's really important that you get your assignments turned in a timely manner. Weeks 1 and 2, I did take off any late penalties, but from weeks 3 and on, if you turn things in late, you will receive a late penalty on the assignment. So definitely, definitely make a strong effort to get your things in on time and complete the assignments. And I get it. Spring semester is, in my opinion, one of the hardest ones, just because of the time of year. You know, it's starting to become summer and it's nice out and you want to go do things with family and friends, and it's just that time of year. I'm in that same boat. I love this time of year. Especially in Utah, like sometimes in the middle of summer it's too hot. Springtime, it's my favorite time because it's like just perfect temperature. You can get out and do stuff. So I'm right there with you, and I understand that it is hard. And I was in school when I went to college. I pretty much just went year round to crank it out. And I remember spring semester was always super hard, you know, just because there's so many things you'd rather maybe be doing than working on math. And I understand that, but that does not mean it's excusable to not do your assignments and not turn them in. So please, please, please. I know this isn't everybody, so as you're listening to this, you know, if you're keeping on top of things and that, great. You know, don't worry about this. But it just seems like as I've looked through the grade book and looking at things, I've just noticed a lot more late and missing assignments than I typically see. And so I just wanted to make you guys aware, you know, that it is important that you get it done. If you don't now, then all of a sudden at the end of the semester, you're going to look at your grade and you're going to say, oh man, Brother Dixon, why is my grade so low? And I'm going to go back and look, and it's like, well, you know, if you're constantly submitting assignments late, you're missing points there. And there's not extra credit. Pathway is very keen on that we are not allowed to give out extra credit. You have to stick to the curriculum, and that's how you get your points. So there's nothing, you know, come towards the end of the semester, if you're missing points and you don't have the grade you like because of things being late and not turned in, you know, there's not going to be much I can do there to help you. About the only thing I can really, you know, have some good leniency on and let you redo and stuff is tests, like I talked about. You know, you can retake tests all the way till the end of the semester, but you know, like the exercises and quizzes and all that stuff, you know, those are kind of set. So please make sure that you're getting those done in a timely manner. You know, get the reflections done as well. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to turn in a reflection for the previous week on like Thursday of the next week, right? I mean, you're already almost done with that week. So, you know, make sure those kind of things you're making in a schedule and you're getting those in on time. Hopefully, you know, maybe it's just working the kinks out in the beginning of the semester and everything will be great. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I know this is a commitment you've all made to take this class, and even though this is kind of a harder time of year, let's do it together. I'm like I said, I'm in the same boat. I've committed to teach this class and do all that, and it does take away a bit of my evenings too. And I wish, you know, I'd be outside doing something, but that's all right. You know, it's something I've committed to, and I'm willing to stick through it. So, and I hope you guys do as well. And that's all. This video ended up being quite a bit longer than I anticipated, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy these videos, and that they're beneficial to you. I sure enjoy talking to you more than just putting text there and my notes from instructor each week. So I hope you guys are enjoying them. Have a great week, and let me know if you need any help.